just like you could say like, oh, she's undercover hunting for Kano. Like, oh, that makes sense. She looks like a ditzy blonde. That works for me. No, you just made a bunch of costumes that didn't have nothing to do with the story at all. Even Scorpion's alternate costume looks like he got um, promoted in Quan Chi's army. It's like has like a bunch more detail to it. It's not just some yellow ninja. It's like, oh, he got a scorpion on him. He has these little rings on him. This is really cool.
Yeah, I actually really liked that costume, but it did kind of look like he was just wearing armor.
Yeah. Baraka's another one too. Like you've seen his at the very beginning, when they're going through the whole Tower of Armageddon, and you see him have this alternate costume. That's cool. I'm like, ah. I mean, if you're going to just show that's all you're going to see of it, you could at least make it look more like Deceptions.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's just me. This me nitpicking, but
But still, but
pay
speaking of
attention
that
to
costume,
detail.
I was gonna ask you. I really, really like that Baraka alternate costume. That was one of the costumes that I think was one of the best ones in the game. I think that
Hmm.
it was a good costume for a guy like Baraka who doesn't really get a lot of love from it seemed like developers and of course not from the fans either because they've kind of reduced him to being kind of a joke. So I think that having
Yeah,
a cool costume like that, it kind of really showed that even Baraka can look cool. So what do you think about that costume?
I do like it too. It was made him look like you said cool, but give him the time and day. Another thing, you give these characters the time of day, then they can look awesome. Maybe don't even look awesome, but be awesome characters.
Yeah, just if they give
Like
them the
look at
opportunity, then I think that a lot of these characters have so much potential that they just don't let them exploit.
yeah, like just look at Johnny Cage. He was such a one-dimensional character. Now he's the one of the leaders of special forces. Not a major leader, but he runs the team.
And he's
Right?
arguably the favorite
Yeah.
of that entire faction because for the most part, everybody else in that faction, whether it be Sonya, Jax, they're not fan favorites anymore. You know, they used to be maybe because of nostalgia and stuff like that, but they haven't really done much in the newer games. Whereas Johnny Cage, whether it's MK9 or MKX, he is very, very important to the storyline. So he's pretty much the only one that really has a big impact on the storyline in both games in terms of
Hmm.
the special forces cast. So I think that they can definitely they can definitely do what they would to Johnny Cage with a lot of these other characters if they just give them the opportunity to do so.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But the other one I didn't like really too was um Jade. Like, this is just I didn't like. I think the whole thing with the mask for me with the women is just like it is that little intrigue, and just NetherRealm does terrible job with faces, especially with females.
Yeah, awful.
It kind of like exposed that a lot,
Yeah, I think
and
Katana
that
had the
also
worst
just
face of all time in MK9.
yeah. And I think I can that's the problem too. Like since I love Katana on a character basis, like we talked about before, um, I look past that like saying, okay, she's good. She just don't worry about it. Then you see Jade, it's like, I can see the flaws now.
Yeah.
But they've gotten better though. That's the good news though.
Yeah, MKX definitely overall looked a lot better in terms of the
Yeah.
characters. And of course, you can talk about the look of the game, how dark it was, and all that stuff as much as you want. But overall, the characters, the way their faces are, the models themselves, they looked a lot better. Of
Hmm.
course, it was a jump in technology. It was going from the 360 and PS3 era to the PS4 and Xbox One era. So, of course, that makes a
Hmm.
lot of sense. But realistically, you look at other games from that era, Gears of War, for example, games that look amazing, Uncharted, all those games had amazing faces. And without a doubt, if you look at the character models from MK9, they were actually really low quality. Just in general,
Yeah.
everything about them was pretty low quality.
Yeah. I would compare Injustice too, but they weren't bad, but I don't know. All I can say is another one did their job. They learned their lesson from MK9 to Injustice to MKX to Injustice 2. Because I think even if you look at Injustice 2, look at Supergirl when she first revealed, that was a really crappy face.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah. And then I'm just looking at it, it's like, I want to like Supergirl, I really do, but you're making it really hard for me to.
I will give them credit though. They do continuously improve, and that's something that for a
Yeah.
while there with the 3D era, they really didn't do. I mean, Deception was always better than Deadly Alliance, and Armageddon was a step down from that. But there
Hmm.
was never really this feeling that they knew what they were trying to do, what they needed to improve, what the fans wanted them to improve. Whereas now it seems like game after game, of course they make mistakes. That's just human, but they do seem like they're going in the right direction and they are improving the look of the game. And hopefully they will realize that there needs to be more colors in the next game and make it more like MK9 in the sense that there was so much beauty in the game, while of course improving the characters and hopefully improving overall the story writing and stuff like that. But we will still talk about that a little bit later on. Before we talk about the story, I want to go ahead and talk about the guest characters as well. What do you
Uh,
think about the guest characters like Kratos? Not necessarily that important because he was only for PS3, but the other guest characters. Did you enjoy them? Did you even play as them? Because I didn't play as any of the guest characters.
so DLC all the way around, and Kratos as well. Um, this is from I want to say like their second podcast because like I said, I my mom put me on MK Online when I was 8, so I wasn't reading. Even if I did was reading, I don't think I should be reading about people's opinions on Mortal Kombat games on certain forums at 8 years old. But um, I was listening to another cast. Another shout out. Maybe one sponsors at some point, but hopefully. But no, I remember them talking about like a lot of people was like saying, actually, people were saying, "Oh, I'm gonna keep my pure Mortal Kombat game." Like that's not that serious. Also, I mean, it makes more intrigue to like Sony went to them first, like, "Hey, we if you give us this character, it can help boost our sales in both Mortal Kombat and PS4. We both win." So Microsoft could have easily done the same thing first, or just done it in like say, "Hey, I know we're a little behind on this, but maybe we can work something out." But ever since that, like if you got E3, they always do MK Mortal Kombat or Injustice always do something at the Sony event press conference. So that just shows that they have a better um brand with Sony.
Yeah,
And or maybe it's like some kind of contract they wrote, like saying, "Hey, be pretty much not exclusive to us, but if you reveal anything, it'll be for us, be through our things." And I'm not gonna lie either. If push comes to shove, that they might Mortal Kombat becomes more of a PS Sony thing, like PS4 exclusive or something, I will buy transfer over to PS4. I don't care all the money I gave Microsoft. I'm like, all right, well, they have more Kombat. What do you have? Simple as that.
I do think that
Um,
Mortal Kombat is probably the only game that'll really push me over to actually buy a PlayStation. Not I don't have a PlayStation not because I don't want one or not because I don't like the
mhm.
games or I have problems with Sony or anything like that. Because I think that this whole console war is just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
But you know, I
like
look
I,
at the exclusives. Do I want to spend an extra 250, $300, whatever it is, to have a PlayStation
mhm.
to play those games that they have? Listen, God of War is cool. Without a doubt, God of War is an awesome game. Spider Man, I'm sure that's a fun game as well. But
That's the thing too.
Mortal Kombat's the only series that that would be an exclusive that would really push me over to buy that. If any other series, I don't think I really care that much enough to really buy both consoles. But Mortal Kombat
Like the
without a doubt.
Spider-Man game, I have considered buying PS4 just to have it, but it's like, oh, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy they did, like, oh, I want that game. It's like, well, I'm not going to spend $250, or $200 in Christmas time for a single game system, just so I can pay $50 more for more games that I'm not going to play.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, I'll play video games I like. I will play, well, even the video games I don't like or do like, really. I will give a couple of months to it, and then I'll be done with it. Mortal Kombat, it's going to last at least to the next game cycle. Or, like, I played Injustice all the way up until January this past year. and that was just because after the first round DLC, I was done with it. Like I played with Raiden still and Black Lightning, all that stuff, but once they revealed the last three characters for it, I just didn't find the need to play it.
Yeah, I feel you there.
And,
I think
yeah.
the DLC characters, like, I really enjoyed Sub Zero in
Mhm.
Injustice 2. I thought he was very well done there, and I think a lot of those moves that he did in the game, they might be kind of like showing what Frost might have in the next game, because he had a few moves that are traditionally hers, if I'm not mistaken. There, and of course, you never know. Like, a lot of those moves might be testing out for having maybe more variations in the next game. But I just think overall Sub Zero, that Sub Zero is probably my favorite Sub Zero I've ever played. To be honest with you, the Sub Zero
Yeah.
in Injustice 2. He was so fast. He was so
But the
fun.
thing,
I loved it.
here's the thing though, with and I hate this is not something I really hate, but everyone's like, oh, MKX is like the best game ever. I'm like, you realize that the last like 4 years ago, you were saying MK9 was the best game ever, or I won't say something like Mortal Kombat DC, but years before that, you're saying this was the best game ever. Like they improved. That's what you have to realize. And Sub Zero is like no different. Like people might say, "Oh, Scorpion was the best and Injustice won." Like, well, because it's a new version. It's fresher. And I'm not lie, I love Sub Zero in that game. My buddy loves him, but it's like Injustice and Mortal Kombat are so different. It's hard to transfer over. So the fact that they did it so well works out for me. And on the whole Frost future moves thing, well, after the backlash they got from the NPCs and Mortal Kombat X, I think I think Ed even said that he's not going to do that no more because a lot of people were so pissed off about it.
No, I definitely was. I wanted Frost to be in there. When she
Mm.
was already in there, they have the character model. They literally have the character model in there.
Yeah,
So why not make her at least DLC, dude? At least DLC.
yeah.
But no.
Let's save that for MKX
Yeah,
talk
let's just talk about
because
it. Yeah. So much to talk about
yeah,
that game. So much.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so there
But
was.
we
Go
do the
ahead. Go ahead.
DLC real quick. That's the last thing we talk about for the story mode. We keep
Yeah.
putting it off, but I mean, it's not like we're going to go anywhere anytime soon. The story mode's still there, but what did you think of the DLC all around?
Uh,
Kenshi, Rain, Scarlet, Freddy.
yeah. I think Scarlet was a very interesting idea. I played her probably the most out of all the DLC, except for maybe Kenshi, because I really like Kenshi back from the 3D era. And I
Mm-hmm.
really liked Scarlet because she was obviously just a very strange character, a very bizarre character. And overall, I think that I would like to see her coming back. I would like to see her in MKX, to be honest with you. Maybe actually like give her a story that actually is relevant. You know, make her a part of the whole Mortal Kombat universe instead of just kind of being a one-off. Because in my opinion, until you're
Yeah.
actually in a main game, you aren't really going to be considered a real Mortal Kombat character unless you are given a depth of story. You have to actually have a reason to be there instead of just being this one-off character that just kind of put in there to be a new character. I liked Raiden because, as you said before, not Raiden, sorry, Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Rain is one of those characters that he's been needing a lot of time. He's been needing, excuse me, to be in a main game for a long time. And if he's not going to be in the main roster, might as well just put him as DLC. Give him an opportunity for his fans to enjoy playing as him. And I think that version of Rain was actually very fun to play. So I don't know why they didn't put him in MKX. I think that the potential was there.
You did
People love.
technically.
Yeah, technically, but technically, not like it wasn't
Yeah.
actually Rain. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's probably like the character that needs to be in MK11 the most of all these characters that don't get enough respect. And as for Kenshi, as I said, I really enjoyed playing him because I liked him from the 3D era. That's pretty much it. My opinion is the DLC was I liked it. I would have liked more
What
of
about
it.
Freddy?
I didn't play as Freddy. I didn't play as any of the guest characters. Not because I have any specific beef with the guest characters and stuff like that, but I would only buy the characters that I want. That's why. That's pretty much what I do with all DLC. I only buy the ones that I specifically want, and overall, you could save more money if you only bought like the 3 or 4 characters you want over as opposed at least over here in Europe, as opposed to buying the entire pack in the long run, of course, when there was discounts. So I went ahead and just bought all the ones I wanted.
Hmm. No, when it came to that, first of all, I love when you said like Scarlet, like a one and done character, gonna want to be like that. I don't want to be quoted exactly on this, and that's what I'm kind of doing some research right now as we're looking, and I'll probably have an answer like mid once we start on another conversation. But I think not officially, but almost officially, that Rain is like Scarlet in the form that only main game he was ever in was Armageddon, I believe. Besides, yeah, Armageddon. And I'm looking at MK3 right now. That would be the proof I need. So 9-3, 9. Oh no, he was.
He was
Nice,
also
never
MK3,
mind.
right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
good.
yeah,
But that's good though because but he's in so little games. That's like, is he really a character?
yeah.
Does he?
Exactly.
He doesn't get. He was like in MK3, kept off until Armageddon, which like a lot of people were. Then brought in MK9 as a DLC, so no story development still. Brought into MKX for NPC, so a little story development, but nothing really. Like Tanya got more story development than he did because she was in the game, and it just showed like run of the mill, like, oh, she's a traitor to everyone she knows, traitor to the royal family, a traitor to Melina, and a traitor to Kodo Khan, and a traitor to Rain. That's all this shows. Like, I kind of want more. That's why I like the Tanya and Jay theme rivalry because like there's like, you're a traitor. I'm gonna fuck you up, like
Yeah,
point blank.
there's a reason for them actually, for her being there. Whereas a lot of times these characters when they're at as DLC, they don't really get anything. There's no like real rhyme or reason to why they would be involved. Because I like to look at it as these DLC characters. They weren't like massively important to the main story, but they are still around in that time spot in that part of the timeline. So they should be
And that's the
relevant
good
and
part too.
explained. Yeah, yeah,
Well, the good part too, at least you know they're still there
exactly, exactly.
versus just. And what only issue with the MK9 risk roster. I know it's the only issue, but I said some other things there. But the biggest issue I have about that is Quan Chi is from MK4. He started
Yes.
in 4.
Yep.
If you want to really go into it, mythologies, and that's before MK1. I get that, okay? You can retcon him if you want. I don't give a shit. 'Cause that's all this game was, big retcon. Rain was it, as we just proved, Rain was in MK3. So why is he not on the roster?
Yeah.
Someone who first game was in MK4 is on the roster before someone who was actually in the timeline. I don't care if you just killed them off too. Just you
Show
can't
it.
have a reboot if you don't have the people in there.
Yeah, just show him dying. Do you like Motaro? Motaro isn't in the
Yeah,
game. Why? Because he got killed off in that fight. Do the same thing for Rain.
yeah.
Explain
I
why
mean,
these characters aren't
hopefully
there.
don't do it, but yeah,
Yeah, but
and hopefully don't kill them off. But
do
if you're
something.
going to not use them, use them for something.
Yeah, do
Like
something.
hell, even Injustice did a better job or explaining why this person wasn't here. Like, oh, why isn't Green Arrow in this universe? Oh, Superman killed him.
Yep,
Okay,
exactly.
point blank, easy enough. Why is Damian Wayne Nightwing? Because he killed the original Nightwing. All right, at least like explain why these people aren't there. And I think because of course Injustice had the idea first for the comic, but it's like that's something really probably should have did too. Like, well, it's a reboot. A lot of people won't have questions, of course, so let's give them something. Because we still don't have answers to these things. Where is Cobra if he's really dead? How did where's New Cybot? We still know that question, that answer. Like the biggest questions they know we have, they don't answer them. Right. But no, that's my biggest issue, gripe with this roster was that somebody from MK4 was on it before someone from MK3, and now you have to pay for someone as well. And
Yeah.
I get why they already had the model from MK versus DC, with Quan Chi, but it's like, so he's that low of a tier character for you that you don't want to give him any time of day. That's really screwed up. Okay, let's go for it.
Especially because he does have so many fans. Like I said, this there's game after game, there are so many people clamoring to see some rain, and they just don't seem to do it. I mean, Ed Boon must
Hey,
absolutely hate the guy. He must absolutely hate the whole fact that he's a joke on Purple Rain.
well,
But
here's the thing, too. He loves Prince, though.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. But I don't know. Especially, I mean, listen, if they don't put him in MK11 after Prince died, if they don't do that, I don't know what to say. I guess the character's just doomed.
Yeah. Like, oh, the one thing that's keeping you around. Well, he's dead, so we're definitely keeping you around now.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I was gonna say something else right before. Oh yeah, Range falls into that tier under with Reiko, where they have a good story, great potential. Like Rain's a prince of India, who turned out his dad is a god, which are half brother. He also have half brothers as well. You can do so much with that. Like, we never seen a triple rivalry with these people before. The closest he's pretty much Taven, Dagon, and Rain are the equivalent of Katana, the male equivalent of Katana, Melina, and Jade, and sometimes Tanya.
Yeah,
But yeah,
without a doubt. Yeah,
I want to make sure I said that before we start the story mode now.
yeah,
So we're finally doing it, guys.
yeah. And that was a good segue talking about Quan Chi because that does kind of lead into one of the major gripes I have with the story mode. It's the fact that so many things that are such big parts of the story of MK1, 2, and 3. They become not
Mm-hmm.
ideas that Shang Tsung comes up with. Shang Tsung isn't the
Mm-hmm.
guy that's, basically being Shao Kahn's number one man, but it's actually Quan Chi now who is having the idea of
Okay.
resurrecting Sindel. It's Quan Chi who is doing all these just very important things when he wasn't even relevant in
Yeah.
MK1, 2, and 3 in the original timeline. So that's where I
But
think that.
also,
Yeah, go ahead.
the other thing too is it nixed the idea of Deadly Alliance,
Yeah,
because Quan Chi and Shang Tsung knew each other in the old timeline, but they weren't this close. And but now it's like, oh, fuck this guy. Why would everyone work with him? So even though they're both dead now too, it's like, why would I ever want to be in alliance with this guy to take over anything? I can't trust him.
yeah. I mean, considering
All he
basically
does
the
is
entire game
undermine me.
was, yeah, exactly. It was pretty much just Shang Tsung is trying to, show that he is Shao Kahn's right hand man, and Quan Chi is always there to take away the spotlight and come up with some idea he probably was going to try to do himself.
And maybe I can think of a reason why they did that too, because the storyline reason. Because I think it's almost all but confirmed that the Shinnok that he was talking to at the end of the game, which we'll get into, but I think he is from the old timeline, and he could have gave all these ideas to Quan Chi to tell him. But at the same time, if that's the case, why haven't you? Why don't you say that? Make it like I said, it's all but confirmed.
That's I never heard that theory, but that's definitely an interesting one. But as you
I
said, the
mean,
biggest issue is there's so many things that they don't make it clear. Like there's so many, you just have to kind of guess at this point. You just have to kind of guess and hope that that is indeed what they're trying to do, and it's not just random and it's not just a mistake, but there's an actual reason for it.
uh, yeah. All right, so let's do it. So we're gonna go with chapter by chapter, or
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, lead us
all
on.
right, all right. So first chapter is Johnny Cage, and it's pretty much like you're running the mill. It's kind of like the MK movie. Like, Johnny Cage is the leading man. He's the first fighter, and it's not bad. and I don't know if it was you or I don't think it was you. We haven't talked about MK9 yet, but someone made a good point. It's like, oh, another cast. They had a good point. Like you have this secret character who's invisible, and he's literally your first fighter. Now you want to retcon all these other characters in this game, but why would you show your one ace in the hole, which is Reptile, for your first fighter?
Yeah, that was also a thing that I didn't even notice until they talked about it on this podcast. At least it was it was the reptile retrospective, right? They just did recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Hmm.
a very very good point they came up with. Because I honestly didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Like that's right. He was hitting the entire game until the next one. But even looking past that, you just it pretty much that game. The one problem with the first, I want to say, first five chapters were just pretty much filler. Well, somewhat filler. You go from Johnny Cage just fighting just to fight. There's no real story development besides him and Sonya, and that's pretty much all it is. That's all you. Oh, you get the exposition. All right, so I think we skipped the whole opening to it to the story mode. Armageddon, Shao Kahn's wins, everyone's dead. You kind of saw that coming because you know who won it then. Shao Kahn wins. He sends Raiden sends a message to him in the past. It's like, okay, this could be kind of cool. This is my opinion off it, by the way, too.
Yeah, yeah,
But this is gonna be cool. And you just see the run of the mill tournament scene. Now, I want to tell you like this. I don't hate the story mode. I don't love it either because before yes I will say I loved it left and right, great story mode. I can accept it because it's Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna love it regardless. But when you listen to people like Nethercast or Gaming Sins or this other guy, which I want to give him props to, I just can't think of his name on top of my head. So well, I'll send you the name. We'll put him name in the description. But um, they pretty much break down story mode, shred it to pieces. And I'm like, even though you're 100% right on all of those facts, I'm still gonna love it regardless because it's Mortal Kombat. Like I still, it's not that we hate it. That's why we're tearing it down. It's just because it could have been done a lot better, and they know it could have been done a lot better too.
yeah. I think we
But
both have a similar outlook on that because when I first played through it, even the second time I played through it, I saw there were a lot of holes in there, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun to play, and it was a great way to really give these characters a lot of exposure. But as I started listening to the Nethercast more and more often, listening to each of their individual opinions and all the holes that there were there that I didn't even notice, all the things that
mm-hmm,
they changed that they didn't really give a reason to why they did change it. It didn't really make sense, and that's when I really started to realize how messed up the storyline was, and that's when I started to think, okay, maybe the story mode wasn't exactly all that great. I still like it. I still enjoy it. If I play through it, I'm not going to be bored at all. I'm still going to enjoy it because it is Mortal Kombat. I still love the characters, but yeah, I there's a ton of things that are wrong with the story mode, a ton of them.
right. But like just like I said, if you even more, the movie did a better job than they did in in the story mode. They
Yep,
had a lot of people who just were there just to be there.
yep, for sure.
Like they made a whole new main character that no one heard of, Art.
Yeah, just why not? Just to give
Yeah,
an emotional attachment.
but it makes sense though because like, all right, we're going to base off of these these seven characters. How about that? And add Katana as well. Well, we can't just have these people fight the same people over each other. So it's like that makes them filler characters, and they did a great job. They already had these filler characters for um the challenge towers. So just throw them there. It's like, hey, Monk 1, Monk 2. Don't give them no dialogue or anything important. Just But what the problem is with just throw them in there. But the problem is they threw characters like Reptile, Baraka to the wolves, and like, all right, they're good. Like, there's no point. What was the point of that?
There was literally none. Like in MK, even the MK movie, as you said, they did Reptile better because Reptile, he's there for like where he sprays Liu Kang in the face. He has his moments where he is shown to be at the tournament, but it's only at the very end that he's revealed. So at the very least, they kept him towards the end of the movie before he gets revealed.
Mm-hmm.
In the game, literally, as you said, he's the very first character you encounter. It just makes no sense. It makes zero sense from a
Yeah.
tactical point of view.
Well, like you get the story development of Sonya and him having a relationship, starting to have one at least,
Mm-hmm.
and then you learn about Kano. Then we go straight into Sonya's chapter.
Yeah.
Other than the expedition of the standard Mortal Kombat, this is what Mortal Kombat is. You're fighting to save the world. Other than that, you really get much from Johnny Cage's chapter.
It's just kind of an intro, essentially.
Not even that. Like at least with, I think the intro did more good than Johnny Cage's chapter did.
True, true, yeah. I did actually
They
really
pretty
like the
much.
intro.
Well, the thing is too, it's like you almost made Johnny Cage the same tier as those other two guys, like just a throwaway character. He's gonna win these 4 fights, then get his ass kicked the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I think the people who did the almost best storyline ever is Dead or Alive, honestly.
You think
Dead or
so?
Alive 5.
Hmm. I haven't
Now,
played
hear me
that game.
out.
I haven't heard. Well, I'm
Yeah,
listening.
Dead or Alive 5. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest game either, because the problem with I like their story mode because you get to play with almost all the characters, almost all of them. But also, you have it starts off with one person and it has 4 fights, and then you switch off to someone else. But it's like you see the timeline as you go on, and then after all this, I think, and after you beat the whole game, you see the whole timeline. You get to put the pieces together yourself. But if you really want to do it, let's play with every character. Excuse me. Then after you beat the whole story mode, then start with like a huge cutscene, make that be the reward, really. A movie style cutscene, like, all right, here's everything that happened, and a linear way for you. Versus, oh, straight through, this is everything happened from here to here to here to here, next, next, next. Versus, like, all right, here's your pieces, you put it together, all right, you beat it, here's your reward. An actual movie. Now, I know most people don't play video games to watch a movie, but that's what the story mode's for.
Yeah,
It's pretty
essentially,
much just one long, yeah,
it's just to
one
show
long
you.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's a movie that can be. In the case of Mortal Kombat, how long was the story for in this game? Like what?
2 hours, I
6 hours?
think.
How long?
2 hours.
Just no, I mean like not cutscenes and all that, but just play in general.
Oh, play in general, I have no
Yeah, yeah, all
idea.
that stuff together. I think it's probably around. Well, I guess yeah, you're right. If you just count the cutscenes, it's definitely around 2 hours. But technically, that's the whole interactivity part of it. Kind of that's what I
Well, it
like
really
about it.
depends on how good you are, too, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because if you're really good, you can beat these things in a minute.
for sure, for sure. Yeah,
So,
especially like if once yeah, I guess if you're trying to if the first thing you do when you get the game is play the story mode, then it's gonna take you a little bit longer because you have to learn literally every single character. But
mm-hmm.
once you've played with those characters a few times and you decide I'm gonna go ahead and play the story mode again, I can definitely see how it'll be probably half the time, maybe even less.
Yeah. So, like I say, like, it could be, like I said, a year for me, but it also can be um, 6 hours for someone who just started playing, or go down to just being 3 hours. So I'm really stretching it there too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But just be able to like really, you can change the modes too. Like instead of winning 2 out of 3, just win one match, and you're done. You
Yeah.
keep that in mind. So there's some they can do it. The timing on it. It just really depends on what you're willing to do before you play.
Mm-hmm. Depends on the person. Yeah.
Um, yeah. I'm too lazy to go into options and change it to just one fight and done. I'm just like, okay, video game, put it in, play it. I'm not
Just
changing nothing about it.
play it as it is. That's how I do.
Exactly. But next you go to Sonya's chapter, and I think you got more from her chapter than you did from Johnny Cage's because you already touched on her thing with Kano. Then she's there to free Jax, but then you have two pillar fights. You have her fight against who you say. Shang Tsung literally said your next fight is against Sub Zero. So how is he able to fight Scorpion later on in the tournament? You get that?
Yeah, yeah, I see. I see what you mean.
It's just there's a bunch of inconsistencies. Like, oh, so she's gonna fight Sub Zero, beat him, so Scorpion doesn't need to fight him later.
Yeah, that's
That's
that's another thing. Like
that'd be the logic of it.
this is supposed to be a tournament. How is it possible that Sonya she beats Sub Zero, and then later on Scorpion fights Sub Zero? It's that's not how tournaments work. It's a bracket.
Work.
It's supposed to be a bracket, but it's just not.
And
Everybody just fights randomly.
we hit the we hit the same problem with Cyrax in a few minutes.
Exactly.
But and then she fights Raiden, which is a throwaway fight. Not really a throwaway fight, just like it has some point. It has some context to it. Like, no, you can't fight him. You can't fight a sing song. So take your anger out on me, then run. And then the next only thing that I hated from Sonya's chapter was the surprise of the 2-on-1 fights.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's literally like after you beat Sub Zero, you beat Raiden, you're like, okay, I'm good. Oh, I want to fight Katana or Jade. That should be easy. No, you got to fight both of these people, and it made the gameplay longer. But it's like I was expecting just to fight one person. I was expecting to fight two,
Yeah, I
but
didn't dislike that kind of thing. But I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed the whole tag team mode. So this was kind of like an extension. I don't know.
yeah.
I kind of liked having to fight two people because I thought it added a little bit of difficulty at the beginning of the game to make it a little bit more difficult. Give you I don't know, make you kind of learn Sonya a bit better before you can actually go to beat those two together. So I didn't dislike it too much, but yes, it definitely added some extra time that they probably could have just skipped.
Yeah, which don't get me wrong, I like that too. It was a very fun mode, but it's like, all right, when I'm on tag team mode on the base game, I'm playing with two people. I'm not playing with one against the world. Like, imagine if they would have did that and for tag team. Like, oh, you want to do tag teams? Okay, you pick one character, and every fight is against two people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I see what
See,
you mean there.
if yeah, like I liked it still because it wasn't like they did random pairings either. It's like, oh, you're gonna fight Katana and Kano, or um, just throwing it out there. Like they did good pairings, like Jay and Katana, um, Cyrex and Sector,
It made
even
sense at least.
Kentaro, and yeah, they made good. They made good combinations with these. No, not always too, because they did one with Melina and New Saibot.
When was
Like,
that?
where
I
did
can't
that
recall that. When was that from?
That was against you're fighting Escobar right before he leaves our world.
I don't know. I'm blanking on that one. I can't seem to remember that fight.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah, yeah,
Trust
for
me,
sure.
I
We have
remember
time.
that one. But but we were, but yeah, you fight them and then you fight Kano, and then Saint just like, nope, stop it. You can't take Kano. I mean, yes, I can take your partner as my prisoner, but you can't take this guy as your prisoner. I need him still.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just like, really? Like, I understand you're an evil prick, but why? But then you go to the next rain comes in, heals Jax. I think that's where people get pissed off the most, right there,
With the healing
because you
part.
see, yeah, well, you see him heal Jax,
Mm-hmm.
That is the one time you see him use that power
Yeah, true,
ever.
true. That's actually a very
Especially,
useful power.
yeah, like, oh, you can heal people, right? Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. Put a highlight right there because there's the end of story mode is the complete like, why the fuck do we not use this power again?
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Another
But
another hole. Just a tiny one though.
yeah, I know. But then you go on to Scorpion's story, which is Scorpion is just filler until he gets to fight people from the Lin Kuei, which is Sector and Cyrax, and he's um, like say sounds like a new fight, Scorpion versus Sector and Cyrax. Like, okay, that they should be eliminated after this fight, right? No, Cyrax has more fights after this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense as a tournament. These guys are just
And I think,
they'll get beaten, and next thing you know, they're still fighting. It makes zero sense. Don't call it a
but
tournament
when
then.
John Cage, yeah, just say it's a fight. Whoever I think wins the most. Who won the? How many people did Liu Kang fight to get to where he was? That's my question.
Yeah,
But only real big plot points from Scorpion's Scorpion's chapter was um Raiden said, "Don't kill Sub Zero. If you don't, I'll remake your clan family." That is a fair bargain, right?
that's definitely something you should accept.
Like, if I don't kill this person who I hate, you'll bring back everyone that I lost because he killed them. I'll take that deal, hands
100%.
down. Don't think about it. Like I want to play Sub Zero. Like no, my family's coming back. I don't give a shit about you. I'm good. That's literally what I've done. I said I'm content, Quanchi. I don't need this no more.
Yeah, and the way that they had
Um,
Scorpion, he was he accepted the deal and all that stuff, and then the whole scene where Quan Chi tricks him again, all that stuff. I mean, listen, it was cool to look at, but Scorpion, they just kind of made him look super stupid, in my opinion. They made him look
yeah.
so stupid. Like Raiden just explained to you that it was not Sub Zero.
No, he didn't even say that.
That's right. He didn't
Ray
say
doesn't
that.
know it.
Yeah, that's right. He just explains that he'll
He
give him
just
back his
said,
family.
please don't kill him.
Yeah, and Scorpion, his whole thing is supposed to be, yeah, I get revenge, but he wants his clan back.
Yeah.
So you would think that he'd be at least smart enough to make the intelligent decision, but
Uh,
I don't know.
um, another thing too that I forgot to pick up on was like, and it's like little details too, and that's why everyone said like details are important. I think even the other cast might have failed on this one, but they, if you look at that story, that scene again, you'll see that the Sub Zero in that cutscene is Kuai Lane.
Yeah.
It's not even Bihan.
Yep.
So it's like, so what is your beef with Bihan if he didn't have nothing to do with it? Like all you have to do is it's like simple cutscene, just change the colors. Like, all right, they put this costume on him instead, and make the same thing you just did, but make him in this costume.
It's just another little crack in the whole MK9 story. They just
Yeah,
continuously make these minor little issues that if you aren't paying attention, you won't notice. But if you are paying attention, it really does just show how little, how lack of it, much of a lack of an attention there was towards so many of these details that are extremely important to the people that really care about the storyline.
yeah. No, and then also it's just like the off-screen um fatality we see after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sub-Zero says, that wasn't me, and I understand why you killed him off because, well, that was the whole point of the first Mortal Kombat. Only person who dies is Sub-Zero.
Yep.
That's the only person who dies. Like, okay, I don't like that, but it has to be done. I think that was the only thing that was accurate about Mortal Kombat, about this storyline, this new timeline. But we immediately then go into Cyrex's chapter, who, like I just said, got eliminated from the whole tournament.
And yet he is not just
Fighting.
yeah, he's not he's actually the main character of his own chapter after literally being eliminated from the tournament. It is that was probably the first time that was probably the moment I realized that there was something a little bit off about the whole storyline because like I said, if these guys are losing, they should not be major participants. They can still be there. They can still be doing
Hmm.
stuff in the background. They can be, causing problems. They can maybe have some fights here and there, but not that are relevant to the tournament itself.
Yeah, like don't say like, oh, they have another match now. Like no, if you lose, you lose.
Yeah.
Because even Six, where you have another match after that.
I don't know like what they were thinking when they made all these decisions. Like they could have easily just maybe mixed up the order here and there, or just taken out that Cyrax fight and have him lose one later on. They could have done so many things, but there's just so many things. When you piece it together, it just doesn't match up and doesn't make any sense. And this is
Yeah.
probably the first one that you really notice.
Well, one thing too, I realized, I don't realize what I fear is that when they write these story modes and storylines, they're so secretive that they don't let people see it. Like not only just fans, but um, they don't have no, they have game testing, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I think they don't have people test those stories because they don't get so ridiculed about it. It's
That's
like
true. They
I
avoid
get that,
leaks.
yeah, I get that's why you don't want to do it because you want to avoid the leaks. But it's like if you make it and it's a shit show, you're going to hear about it, and people, the more and more you let people down, the sooner people start coming to like saying, "I don't want to play this game no more,
Mm-hmm.
not for the story mode anymore," and that's sad, really. Like,
Considering
you
that is
screwed
what
up.
Mortal Kombat's based on, the whole story. That's what really,
Yeah,
of course, it was the gore and all that stuff. But what really makes Mortal Kombat unique, as we said before, is the fact that the story is so deep.
yeah. But you take so I think honestly the best way they can fix this is by letting people see it too. Like all right, we know we don't want leaks, but we want people to make good things for people. So it's like, well, you have two choices. Like people are going to leak the game out regardless. We know that now. But the best thing you can do is just say, hey, you can't record nothing here, and you can't talk about it without unless you want us to sue you until this date. That's what WWE does.
Yeah.
2K does with their 2K does with their games is they fly a lot of people out there to play it. Um, then take their own gameplay videos. They even played some of the story mode, and they make them sign an NDA saying, "All right, you cannot post any of this on your YouTube until this date," which is like a week before, um, right before the game comes, 2 weeks, a couple of weeks before the game comes out, and that's fair. I think that's the smartest thing they can do. But because it not only does it let people see your little story mode at first, like, oh, this is nice. Like, all right, here's that. If you like it, come buy the game and play the rest. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
And what they
But
could do,
another thing,
sorry to interrupt. What they could do is, invite some of the guys that are really important to the Mortal Kombat community when it comes like to online. You can invite, I don't know, somebody from another cast. We always mention them, or I don't know, somebody like Total
mhm,
MK, or somebody like Tabmock. These guys that
if,
have a very deep knowledge about the lore, and guys that like in a lot of ways seems like they probably know more about the lore than the people that actually make the games themselves. So have these
well, the thing
guys go
is
over there,
too.
sign non-disclosure agreements, have them go through the story, make sure everything's okay, and then sign it off.
Yeah. Well, don't even have to play the whole story mode. Let them still find out for themselves when the game comes out.
Yeah,
Right? Let them play the first chapter or two,
yeah, yeah. Just to make sure
and then
it all makes sense.
yeah, like for what you see now, do you like it? because this is already made and we can't change it now. But and you don't have to like praise it and say, "Oh, they did a great job. That'd be awesome. They can't wait for it to come out." Like it has this bug. This is how this person plays. This is how that person plays. And the thing is, they did it for Injustice too, though too. So I think they might be learning from that.
Yeah,
So
as I
they
said,
take
they
a
do
bunch of
improve, they do learn, and they do go on from based on criticism. So that is a positive. Hopefully, with MK11, there
so,
will be a bit more. Uh, there will be a bit more
but the
open to
people
what they're
they
doing.
take though, people they pick, that's the only problem with me.
Yeah.
Because all right, I and I think we'll touch more about this story and in the next video for MKX. But I Uncaged Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
He has a gaming channel, and much as I respect him and love him and stuff as a content creator, and he loves Mortal Kombat too. That's like his whole persona is based off of Johnny Cage. But when you have people like him, and I'm not going to like try to say how much as YouTubers either, but I'm just like, you gotta realize some people just play any video game and they just make some content for them. You take a person like Black Cyborg or Tim, Total MK, bring them out there. Not only are they gonna be there for themselves for their channel, but also gonna be there for the game itself. So everyone wins in the end.
Yeah, considering
Like
they essentially make their living, not necessarily living, but a lot of what they do and what their entire life is based around when it comes to YouTube and all that stuff, it is literally around the game. So if Mortal Kombat
just
dies,
Mortal Kombat.
they die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like
Like
die
another one too.
physically, but their channels.
Yeah. But they with no more Kombat, no Injustice, no content really.
Exactly.
But that's why I respect a YouTuber like um Super or Breast Poet Productions.
He's another good one, yeah.
Like yeah, they just strictly do Mortal Kombat and Injustice. And they both said they can probably do other games right now too, but it's like because Mortal Kombat and Injustice not making any other games.
There's only so
Yeah,
much you
the
could
other
do
rooms,
when it comes to Mortal Kombat
yeah,
Injustice. You have to do some other things here and there. If not, you run out of ideas after a certain amount of time, considering there's 4 or 5 years between each game.
yeah. Well, even like it used to be two, but now it's like, oh well, when's the next one coming out? We have no fucking clue. No fucking clue. So what am I supposed to do with content? That is completely up to you now. Like,
Yeah.
great. Just great.
Yeah.
Even Breast Poet, who's a college student, and like all you see is on stuff is more comeback or injustice. Mostly not even injustice really.
It's mostly
And
Mortal Kombat.
Super,
Yeah.
yeah. Super, he at least is doing. He's now doing um Dragon Ball Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing else for him to play right now. But he's still making content for both. He's still making content for Mortal Kombat X. At some point, you just like, how much longer can I play this game? And that's where I'm at.
Same here. I
Yeah.
play Mortal
But
Kombat X probably like once or twice a year for a week or two, and then drop it off until the next 7 or 8 months. Play it for a few days, taper off again, and then same cycle over and over again.
I'll play it for like a couple of days and I'll take a couple of months off.
Yeah.
A couple of days and take the another 4 months off. It just, as someone who I haven't played before plays the game, like, all right, let's play it for a couple of minutes or an hour, and then like, all right, I'm done. I'm not going online. I'm not going to the story mode again. I'm just going to play it for a few seconds, for a couple of minutes, and be done with it.
Yeah.
That's how I
Just
am with
for
MKX right now.
a quick few fights
I'm
here and
burnt
there.
out.
Well,
Yeah.
same here. The biggest issue, as I said before, is I got burnt out of that game so fast, and that was the first Mortal Kombat game that really got me sick of it. Not sick of it, but I didn't have the enthusiasm to play it in such a short amount of time. Like MK9, I played forever. It felt like literally forever before I got bored of it. Or not, I finished pretty much doing everything I was gonna do.
Yeah.
I think in MK9, the only thing I didn't do apart from the online achievements was literally doing the what was it? What was the name of the achievement? My Kung Fu is strong or something like that, or My Kung Fu is strongest or whatever it is, where you have to have 24 hours played with each character, and that was just not going to happen. That was just not going to
Yeah,
happen. So I mean, once you get to that point, then you're just going overboard. But you
yeah.
know, I think
That's what I'm
MK9
waiting to
was
get that is the
yeah
online.
yeah exactly.